No, actually, Suzuki has never broken any copyright rules at all. It is you, Suzuki haters, who don't understand copyright. It never occurs to your mind, to your simple-minded brain, P-brain, that your Taylorgang followers and John Swan followers, that modifying copyright content, that you can modify copyrighted content. There is actually no law which restricts you on doing that. And you can search all the internet you want about this. You will never will be able to prove me wrong. And because you are not restricted to modify copyright content, to create your own content, there is actually, which means that, and modifying means changing the whole content. Actually, in fact, and that is what Suzuki was doing all this time. She modified the copyrighted content to create her own content. In fact, and there is no law saying that you can't actually modify copyrighted content to create your own content. There is no law, so you can do all your research you want. You will never on this one prove me wrong. Never. You can try, but all you will do is will actually make yourself even bigger losers as you really are. And Taylorgang, you're also a big loser. If you think that there is a rule which actually says that you actually can't modify someone's copyrighted content in order to create your own content, there is no rule saying that. And because there is not, it's perfectly alright to borrow someone's copyrighted content to create your own content. There is nothing illegal about it. That is not stealing, because that is not stealing of anything, because there is no rule saying that you can't actually borrow someone's copyrighted content to create your own content. There is no rule which says that. So it's perfectly fine. And all of those anime reaction videos, old ones and the new ones, are actually perfectly fair use. They are transformative because there are more they're more modified than you can actually even imagine. There is more modifications of it than you can actually even imagine. So modification means changing and making your own. That's what modification means. In fact, and to you all of John is one tipster and quartering and everybody else who believes that I'm wrong, then try to prove me wrong, that you can't actually use someone else's content to create your own content. Try to prove me wrong. Try if you must, but in the end you will come up short. You will come up short. You will not be able to find anything that would contradict what I just said. So you lose content no way is actually the same as the original one. No way. So it is transformative. It easily passes the first factor of transformativeness. In fact, it is transformative. It is not carbon copy of the original work. It is not. So, length shorter than full length episodes, which already proves you wrong. That Suzuki is not reacting to full length episodes, and she never even did. So, and then fourth, it doesn't actually affect any market because she's creating her own content. She's modifying, she's editing, modifying, she's making that content her own, but that's not stealing. She's changing some parts in there, adding some of her own stuff in there. That's how creation of anime reaction video works. So it's not just like you actually imagine just record how you actually react to the anime episode. It's not just that. You have to edit, you have to modify, you have to render the video. You have to do all of those things. In fact, it's not that simple like you actually imagine creating anime reaction videos. And I will put a link in description on how from YouTube video how to create anime reaction videos, and you'll see that I am right, that I am correct about it, that it's not that simple, in fact. So you Taylorgang and his followers, and of course John Swan and his followers, and of course Pegasus and all of the other stupid people, stop blaming Suzuki on what she clearly did not even do. She never clickbaited any suicide. That is pretty darn stupid for you to even actually accuse her of that. Your misinterpretation of the Twitter post led you to lie about that. You misinterpreted that Twitter. You interpreted just for your own a selfish gain. That is not only you, Taylorgang, and you stupid Taylorgang's followers, but it also John Swan and Pegasus and all of his stupid brainwashed idiots. That was no way clickbait suicide. That was clickbait, so exit YouTube, in fact. So do not mix those two things up. You will everything what she say convert into lies for your own selfish gain. A Taylorgang and his followers. And of course that same can be said about John Swan and all of his stupid idiots, in fact. And the quartering and of course the tipster. I hope that he will never do those update videos again, and I hope that you will learn your lesson. Taylorgang, stop interpreting everything what she says for your own selfish gain. Stop it. Get some help. Because as far as I watched in your videos, you interpret everything for your own gain, for your own subscriber gain. You brainwash others. I will not be brainwashed, Taylorgang, by your stupidity, and of course by your completely funny and ridiculous claims. Suzu has never actually broken any copyright rule, or any rule for that matter. All of her reaction videos are perfectly fine within copyright rules. If you say that modifying is bad, then you are stupid, really stupid person, Taylorgang, and really without any brain, because it is not bad. So the same can be said about its band. He is also brainwashed. GG Reloaded also is the same stupid person who is completely a stupid idiot, and his followers are also just as brainwashed by John Swan. John Swan is the main brainwasher. In fact, I never bought his nonsensical talk. He never had any valid evidence of Suzu even doing even one thing wrong. And if you say that the person cannot have his opinion about one person, then you are also, I don't know, childish and stupid. Because every person can have their own opinion on how other person looks. There is nothing bad about it, about the person having an opinion about it. There is nothing bad about it. Nothing. And also about someone's job, there's also nothing bad about a person having opinion on that as well. So stop whining, Taylorgang. Stop whining. All of your update videos are ridiculously stupid. In fact, you are crazy. You will never be able to deplatform Suzy Lu. That will never actually happen. She will deplatform you, most likely. And it never actually crosses your minds that modify means changing. And if you change something in someone's copyrighted content, that content is not anymore than only the unchanged. There is behind that the original, but that modified version of it is not the same as the original, is not the same. When you will finally learn it and realize it for once, realize it. Modified content is not the same. It is different. Get that, all of you Suzy Lu haters in your thick schools. For once, that Suzy Lu never actually broke any copyright rules. She never. And you accusing her of that makes you completely stupid idiots. Actually, completely stupid idiots. How can you even say that? And Suzy Lu never bullied anybody. She really was the victim of harassment and bullying, and that's why she reported those pathetic idiots on YouTube. Actually, in fact, and YouTube can only decide whether your video is deleted or not. If you do not delete your own video, then YouTube can. You can only, someone else's video, you can only report. You can't delete someone else's video, you can only report. The ones who have the power to delete their video is actually the owners of the video which they uploaded on YouTube, or YouTube. That's it. And as far as I have watched on what is a hate speech on YouTube, on YouTube's hate speech policy, there is a lot in comment section a hate speech towards Suzy Lu. I can actually even show them, show all of those comments. There are just gazillions of hate speech. Gazillions of people needs to be deleted from YouTube because they are calling Suzy Lu like a criminal, which is definitely hate speech according to YouTube policies. Or Taylorgang calling Suzy Lu bitch, which is actually, and because bitch is a female dog, it is a comparing persons on animal. That is direct hate speech. So there is a lot of hate speech, and as I can actually even show how bullying looks like. That even if you joke about somebody, it can also be bullying. if that joke makes that person actually uncomfortable. Bullying is everything that makes the targeted person uncomfortable or angry. That's what bullying is. The same can be said about harassment. If person doesn't feel comfortable, then it is a harassment. And harassment also includes insults. In fact, and Tipster did in few of his videos directly harass Suzy Lu, and that's why she reported him to YouTube. Tipster asked for it. Of course, Suzy Lu will not actually tolerate insults, although who would? In fact, no one would tolerate insults. In fact, everybody would become angry if they are insulted. So and I already explained how Suzy Lu's videos are fair use, and how Taylorgang's claim that Suzy Lu is actually violating copyright rules is actually false. And Suzy Lu is actually correctly flagging those people, not false flagging. Which makes your accusations that Suzy Lu false flags someone completely invalid. She never false flags anybody, and she never mass flags. And if you call just 3 or 5 videos flagged a mass flagging, then you are completely imbecile. That is far from mass flagging. Far from it. Far. That's not even half of a dozen, in fact. So that's not even 6, I mean. So that's 5 or 3 even. So Suzy Lu actually rarely even flags anybody, and you will never be able to show me any receipt that she flags, that she mass flags those people. Did it actually occur in your mind that Suzy Lu is not the only other YouTube user in the world except you? Huh? Did it actually occur to your stupid and simp minds? Actually, it seems not. You always think that Suzy Lu is the only one other person on YouTube besides you and her haters, of course. You always think that way, because if you think that way, that allows you to always actually blame her on flagging those videos or behaving badly. But she's not the only one. In fact, YouTube is actually second largest social media in the world with our 2 billion people in there, which completely invalidates your and Taylorgang's comment and accusation that Suzy Lu flags mass flags other people. There are of course other users who flags the same videos as she does. It never actually occurs to your stupid mind, because your brain is just too small to realize it. Do you even know just how big amount it is? 2 billion? It seems not. And according, and YouTube is the second largest social media platform in the world, only behind Facebook, who has actually 2.5 billion or 2.6 billion. I don't know the current data of those, but still it's still big enough number to invalidate all of the Taylorgang's accusations that Zulu mass flags those other people. There are other users who does the same thing. But because you are too stupid to realize it, it actually didn't actually occur to your minds, in fact. Which means Zulu never actually mass flagged anybody. And your thinking about copyright is also wrong. You have completely no proof that Zulu bullied anybody. She never bullied anybody. She doesn't even look like bully, in fact. She is very nice person, very nice. In fact, and if she was a bully, then all of her videos were actually only bullying. So she's definitely not bully, and harasser also she's not. So stop whining about her actions and stop making things up. Stop blaming Zulu for what she never actually even did. Get some help. And if you will still disagree with me, then that will show just how big imbeciles you are, just how big imbeciles and losers, and of course hypocrites you are. In fact, you Zulu haters. It is you who bully her, not the other way around, but you who bully her with all of those videos. So stop this nonsense and writing to my videos, just nonsense comments which doesn't even make any sense. And the Taylorgang's videos also doesn't make any sense. In fact, doesn't. I am the one with logical thinking, not him. And the fact that more and more people are actually awakening from being brainwashed by John Swan's stupidity about Suzy Lu. It just proves that until the end of this year, you'll be alone who will think that way. And Taylorgang also will be one of those rare people who will think that Suzy Lu is actually a bad person. She's not a bad person, she's a very nice person. And she's saint, like I said before. But Taylorgang is devil. And so are his followers, making things up, lying about Suzy Lu. And yeah, they are just making things up. Actually, their way of thinking is just to make them look better. I already explained how they actually their way of thinking, which allows them to blame Suzy Lu on mass flagging. They think that Suzy Lu is the only other YouTuber in this whole world, except for them, maybe those Fipster and other journalists, fake journalists on YouTube, like John Swan and others. Their way of thinking is like this, like I already explained. That's how they think. And then they misinterpret Suzy Lu's tweets on Twitter. For them to look better, so that Taylorgang and his followers looked better. Completely misinterprets, and I think that is done on purpose. In fact, and yeah, I already caught a few times a Taylorgang on lying about Suzy Lu, in fact. And many times actually caught him lying, telling completely bullshit, bullcrap about Suzy Lu. And she never actually even uses any of those view bots or whatever. Just look at how slowly actually her subscriber count actually increases. Way too slowly. So definitely not using bots. So she's definitely not using any bots at all. So, and she's definitely not the hypocrite and stuff. She's much better than that. Stop blaming her on what she didn't even do. Me out.